Hi, I'm going to tell you how to solve compound inequalities. A compound inequality is just two inequalities that are joining by a word and or. That's it. So if you know how to solve any inequality, you can solve compound inequalities as well. First, we're going to look the hints. The hints, it's how you can solve the compound inequalities. And then we're going to see some examples. So let's see the hints. First hint, the same number can be added to or subtracted from both sides of the inequality. Second, both sides of an inequality can be multiplied or divided by a positive number. When both sides of an inequality are multiplied or divided by a negative number, the direction of the inequality symbol reverses. In equations, it's usually to listen students to say like, we pass to the other side, teacher, we pass it to the other side. In fact, it's better to say we add or subtract by this number to each side of the equation. In inequalities, it's really important to use this language to say we're going to add to or subtract from this part, subtract 5 from both sides of the inequality, to be clear. And remember, for inequalities, if you multiply or divide by a negative number, you have to change the direction. The symbol, the inequality symbol reverses. Change the direction of the inequality. So let's see how it works. Let's see an example number 1 with compound inequalities involving and. And means intersection. So it means that we have to solve the inequality and give the intersection of the solution. There are two ways to write a compound inequality with and. The first is, as you look at here, we have the expression in between two inequalities. And the other way is you have two inequalities and the word and. So let me show you how to solve the first inequality, then we solve the other. So we have the inequality minus 3 less than or equals to 4 minus 5x divided 3 less than or equals to 4. So which is the first step? The first step we have to do. So we're going to solve the inequality for x. We have 4 minus 5x divided 3. So the best way to start will be multiplying by denominator 3 each side of the inequality, and then we can rid of the 3. Let me show you using the multiplication. So here I'm going to multiply by 3. I gotta multiply all this equation by 3, and here 3 times 4. Okay, now multiply. Minus 3 times 3 is minus 9. This 3, it's going to be simplified with the denominator here. So we have 4 minus 5x. 4 minus 5x. Less than or equal to 3 times 4, 12. 12. Now, what is the next step? Okay, we can subtract 4 from subtract by 4 from 4. Subtracted 4 to each side of the inequality. So we can write here 9 minus 4. Here we can subtract by 4. And 12 minus 4. Minus 9 minus 4, minus 13. Here we have 4 minus 4, 0. 12 minus 4 is 8. 8. Now, to solve the inequality, we have to divide by minus 5. Divide by minus 5. Divide by minus 5. But it's a negative number. Negative number, if I divide by a negative number, I have to reverse or change the direction of the inequality. So we're going to divide by minus 5. Minus 5, reverse, change direction, minus 5, change direction, and minus 5. And what is the answer? What is the answer? Minus 13 divided minus 5 is 13 fifths. Greater than or equals to, so this is x, greater than or equals to minus 8 fifths. And this is the answer. This is the answer. And if you want to write the answer using intervals, you can notice that the interval here is a closed interval because you have equals to, and x is greater than minus 8 fifths. So we can say that the solution is minus 8 fifths and comma 13 fifths. This is our solution of the situation. You can graph the interval. It's something that you can try and show to your teacher how to graph the interval. And this is a compound inequality with n. But there are other type of compound inequalities with n that is these two that we have here. Okay, it's just one, but you have two options. The first is minus 12 less than or equals to 3 minus 4x, and 3 minus 2x divided 2 less than 20. Less than 20. So we're going to watch how to do it. So the way to do it is solve each inequality first. We're going to solve each inequality as there's no end. If you don't have end. So we have 12 less than or equals to 3 minus 4x. 3 minus 4x. So first step. First step, we're going to subtract by 3. Subtract by 3. 3 minus 3, 0. 12 minus 3, it's minus 15. It's minus 15. First step. And the next step is divide by minus 4. Divide by minus 4. But remember, if you divide by a negative number, you have to change the direction. I tell to the students change direction, but it reverses the sign, the symbol. -4, so we have negative 15 divided -4 is 15/4. So this is the first part. Solving the other inequality. So we're going to solve the other inequality. We're going to solve the other inequality. And first we have to multiply by 2 each side of the inequality. Multiply by 2. Multiply by 2. Let's multiply by 2. So if I multiply by 2, I will simplify denominators. I just have 3 minus 2x. And multiply by 2. 2 times 20 is 40. Now we can subtract by 3. Subtract by 3, so 40 minus 3 is 37. 37. And finally, we're going to divide by -2. If I divide by -2, I simplify it here, but I have to change direction. Will be greater than 37 divided by -2, negative sign here, so it will be positive 37 divided -2 is minus 37 halves. 37 halves. Now we have two solutions. X is greater than minus 37 halves, and x is less than or equals to 15/4. So it means that I can write the answer using the intersection of the solutions. So we're going to use the intersection of the solutions. X is here, and x is greater than minus 37 halves. And x is less than or equals to, less than or equals to 15/4. 15/4. So we have the answer. This is the answer. Minus 37 halves is less than x and is less than or equals to 15/4. Let's write the answer using intervals. So solution. The solution interval is, this is open, so open parentheses, (37 halves, comma, 15/4, and we can close the okay, let's see if I can write an appropriate parenthesis. So here, that's it. It's this. No. So open here and close here. Okay, now it's correct. Open interval because it's less, and close because it's less than or equals to. And that's how we have the first solution with compound inequalities with A. A means intersection, and means intersections, not with A, with and. And means intersection. So now let's see how we work with OR inequalities. If we have OR inequalities, we have to solve both inequalities as we did it in the second example here with AND. But at the end, we have to take into account the union. So you need to check both solutions at the same time. Let's see how it works. So we have this inequality. First, solve each inequality. So we're going to solve the first inequality. Okay, let's solve the first inequality. How to solve it? First, multiply by 12. So if I multiply by 12, this side I have 3x minus 5. And 12 times 3 is 36. Then I can add each side by 5. Add each side by 5. So 36 plus 5 is 41. And finally, divide by 3. Divide by 3. It's a positive 3, so we don't have to change direction of the symbol. Just 41 divided by 3. Divided by 3. That's the first part. Solving the other inequality. So let's solve the other inequality. Okay, so we have this inequality. We're going to solve it. The inequality is 9 less than or equals to 3 minus 12x divided by 4. So first step, multiply by 4. Multiply by 4 each side of the inequality. 9 times 4, 36. And here with this fraction, we just simplify denominators. 3 minus 12x. Next, what is the next step? What is the next step to solve? Of course, subtract by 3. Subtract by 3. 36 minus 3, 33. 33 divided 12, less than or equals to minus 12x. And the next step, divide by minus 12. Divide by minus 12. Each side. But I divide by a negative number, so I have to change direction. Look at that, I'm not telling, I'm passing. I'm telling divide each side of the inequality by 12, minus 12. And we can simplify here. because we have a third part. Third part of 33 is 11, and third part of 12 is 4. Minus 11 fourths greater than or equals to x. So we have two solutions. X is less than 41 thirds, and minus 11 fourths is greater than or equals to x. So the solution is the union of both results. In this case, the solution is. So the solution is the interval from minus infinity let me find the infinity. Minus infinity. No. Minus infinity. Oh, I don't find it. Okay. We're gonna use this as minus infinity. Minus infinity to 41 thirds and union with n and minus infinity with minus 11 fourths. Okay? This is how you should write the answer. However, sometimes if you look at both inequalities as you're choosing or, so could be one or the other, and you can find that one of the answers is a subset of the other answer, so you choose just the complete answer. So for example, here, minus infinity to 41 thirds is a set that includes minus infinity and minus 11 fourths. So I can just use minus infinity to 41 thirds. And this is how you can, of course, you can graph to use it a number line to graph and check. And this is how you solve compound inequalities with and or with or. Take into account that with and, it's usually to have this type of sentences. I mean, two inequalities in the same sentence. And with or, we have to separate them. Separate the inequalities. And this is how you solve compound inequalities. I hope you understand, you enjoy the video, and remember, if you have any questions, you just have to tell me, and if you have a hint, tell me, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.